So when you are building your spiritual connection, when you're building your connection to your guardian angel or to your spirit team, I think a really important thing to understand as you're building that relationship is that it's often a lot more subtle than you expect it's going to be. I think because of how the media portrays mediums and psychics, the expectation is that if you tap into your relationship with your guardian angel, you will get like really clear downloads and information. You'll get visuals, you'll get premonitions, you'll get a step-by-step guide of how to do things all the time. And your relationship with your guardian angel and your spirit team is much more subtle. It's a really different relationship than anything you have on human earth, because we're so used to loud and really explicit and clear messaging and kind of aggressive messaging all the time. And your guardian angel and your spirit team, that relationship is really soft and subtle and gentle, and it often taps into parts of yourself that you don't discuss with the average person, or even maybe your partner or your family. Those kind of floaty, deep recesses of your mind more. I'm not saying that in a woo-woo way, it's just more like those thoughts that you have that just seem a little bit more internal, your internal thought process. You don't really share that with other people, but that is something you can share with your guardian angels, and so it's a lot subtler, and you've got this glorious amount of time to build that relationship. It's different. It's more like a wave type of relationship that you build, and you get confident in your ability to understand, because the spirit team are not here on human earth, so they cannot communicate in really aggressive and explicit language and imagery and everything like we expect humans to, because they don't have a voice box. They're like an energy. So their messaging is more subtle, so it takes you a bit of time to understand, but also the messaging is personal to you, because your spirit team, most of it is personal to you. We have guardian angels that are uniquely assigned to us. We do have like archangels, that sometimes like Archangel Michael, that might come into your life at a certain period. But really, your spirit team is unique to you, and the messaging is unique to you. So what I found, like I've been starting to try and build up this relationship consistently. I've been working on my spirituality for a while, and now I'm determined that every day I need to actively do the practices instead of writing them all down and thinking about them, so that I can start building up this relationship, and then I can kind of pick which works from different books and resources, what's working for me and helping my communication. And what I've noticed over the last few days is my messages are very subtle. My messages are always kind of leaning on me using my intuition first and foremost, rather than any external resource. So like my video a while ago about ChatGPT, it's like my angel and my guardian team are kind of saying, stop looking outside externally for answers, because literally everything's here. You just don't give it the space to let it reveal itself to you. And what's interesting is I get a lot of signs as synchronicities and symbols. So some people might get very different things. So some people might be more clairvoyant. So they might be walking down the street and then suddenly an image pops in their head. And that's how they get communicated to. Some people might have a ringing in their ears. I mean, I occasionally get a ringing in my ears, but it's very specific. And I'm still trying to figure out the theme of when that happens, because it does happen at very specific times, but I'm trying to understand what that's communicating to me. But some people can get voices, not like full on the devil's voice in your ear. I think that's an exaggeration. It's more like they can get their inner voice will tell them something, or they might hear a word, or they might externally hear. Sometimes you can hear like your name somewhere where you shouldn't hear your name, things like that. You can claircognizance is inner knowing, so that's just like, but when you walk into a room, you're like, this, I just have a sense that this might happen, or this person's going to say something to that person before you don't know the people. It's not like you already knew that was going to happen. It's like this deep knowing that, or you have this sense that it's just not going to work out. And someone goes, well, how do you know? I don't have any external evidence of it. It's just a feeling. That's claircognizance. And then clairsentience, you just pick up and feel everything, good and bad. So I get a lot of feelings. I'm very clairsentient, and what I've realised now, it kind of links very strongly to my intuition. When I ignore it, which I often have done, to keep the peace because I don't want to do anything, I had an epiphany the other day that basically, when my intuition starts dinging, I get a bit nervous of it because it's always requiring massive change. So it's like, this job isn't for you. This relationship isn't for you. That's not going to work out. And I think I avoid it because I'm like, oh, it's not convenient now to change my life. But then 2025 is a perfect example of I ignored that feeling. Everything felt off. But I was like, I just need to keep going. I just need to keep in this hamster wheel. And then literally, by ignoring my intuition, everything had to go. So yeah, I feel a lot of feelings, and I think when I get really strong intuition, I know that it's going to be an upheaval. But I also love my clairsentience because it means, like, I think some people don't have this experience, but I could be like sat next to people I love, or watch something, or have a moment of like a random stranger, we're having a conversation, and I can feel when they tell me something, like this wave of emotion, of like unconditional love they feel, of grief they feel, and it's an overwhelming wave. It does go because it's not mine, but like the pure ecstasy and euphoria I can feel in those beautiful moments, like holding, you know, babies in the family for the first time. I cannot describe to you in words how that feels. And I don't think that happens to everyone. And they're not my children, so God knows when I have my own children what that will feel like. But anyway, so basically I get sent more subtle signs. I get lots of angel numbers. And as soon as I ask questions, sometimes pretty instantly I'll get an angel number. I frequently get 1111. 444 as well is a very common one I get, but recently I've started getting like 1010 and 1212. So I'm trying to figure out, because angel numbers, you can kind of get them as generic messages for everyone, but your angel numbers might be specific, so your guides might give you an angel number at exactly the moment when something is about to change, or when they're asking you to do something, like lean back and relax and accept it, or you need to take action now, that kind of thing. So it will be specific to you. But I also noticed my dream space has always been a really ripe place for messaging, and I do kind of protect myself now before I go to bed. I visualize being protected, but I do also give the guides permission to kind of give me any messages through dreams, because I always remember my dreams when I wake up, and that's quite a rarity. So I have been trying here and there to keep a log of them, because I have them fairly frequently, and the messaging is always pretty accurate. The symbolism, the imagery in it is quite something to unpick with me. So I know that a lot of my messages are things like, I say, give me advice on this situation, show me the clarity of this situation, give me next steps on this situation, and they usually deliver. Like, for example, this morning I woke up to a dream that was quite clear. It had text in it, so it literally had like the shack, and above it said green aura healing, which was very interesting because I don't get text on my dreams. I get a lot of imagery, I get a lot of people, I get a lot of conversations. So I was like, well, that is pretty clear what it's kind of talking about. And I often get characters who kind of play different parts. So like, interestingly, in this dream, it was this kind of, I've had a lot of dreams recently about embracing my spirituality and connecting, and I kind of have the devil's advocate for that. I have the person who is spiritually awakened and the person who is skeptical, and I think it's that two sides of my psyche, and that fear of people not kind of understanding it. But yeah, that's how I get a lot of messages. Some people might get things very specific, like you might get a specific symbol that you always see. Animals might follow you around, you know, you might have the same thought that repeats, that you then think, this actually isn't my thought, this is something, a download almost. But it's not like That's So Raven. It's not like, shit, you can see everything happening. And sometimes with the spiritual journey, you get bits. So you ask for something clear, like, is this relationship for me? Is this the right thing? And sometimes the universe kind of gives you a little drip feeding of it, and you're a bit like, that didn't give me clarity. But it's because something either has to unfold where you gain that clarity, or you have to find the clarity within. Like sometimes the universe is like, you already know the answer, so I'm not wasting my time giving you signs when you know what you've got to do, you're just avoiding it. Or it might be like, hang fire, you don't know everything yet. I'm not revealing everything to you yet. It has to come in divine timing. So you just have to stop trying to take the wheel and drive, stay in the passenger seat and like look at the view and like calm down. So yeah, it's an interesting, more subtle relationship, but I don't think it should deter you, because you all have a guardian angel and a spirit team. And at any point, if you would like to, you can start connecting in with them. So I'm going to keep you informed of how the relationship develops, because I can already see that things are coming a bit more clearer as I'm being consistent. But spirituality is like the gym. You have to keep putting in the training sessions to get more out of it. So at first it might feel a bit silly, or like you're really not getting anything out of it or getting any messages or whatever. But the more you do it, the more that your team knows you're there, the more that the communication channel strengthens. And like that muscle of the gym, or your brain muscle when you're learning something, it starts to strengthen, and then it becomes easier as a channel for you to talk to each other.